Title 42, which is the pandemic-era policy allowing some easy deportations, expires in a couple of days. We're already seeing enormous surges at the border. There's no way to write this story other than you're going to see pictures of tens of thousands of people coming across every day. How big of a political liability is that for the White House? How much can Republicans exploit it?
Well, this is an enormous threat to Joe Biden's reelection. When you think about the issues that represent where he could lose, how he could lose on immigration, and the thing is, you've seen Biden move rightward on this question throughout his presidency, right? He has kept in place things that the Trump administration had, and he's done these things. You know why? Because they're popular. They're popular and people want those things to be in place. Democrats thought that it would be much easier on immigration than it would be. We're not going to put kids in cages. We're not going to separate families. We're going to be the nice people. They were the mean people. And as it turns out from the beginning, this is a fraught, challenging thing. Enforcing the law is hard and unpleasant. And my prediction is that before this is done, the political pain around this will be a great motivator for Democrats to come to the table to try to do something on this because it is going to really sting.
So no one wins, though, with 10,000 people showing up at our border every day. There's no political winner in this, and it's increased over time, and we're seeing mass migration from areas that have seen declines in their own democracy or their own government. So we see that increase from India, we see it from Venezuela, we see it from Colombia now. Now, Vice President Pence actually was going to the Northern Triangle. He was trying to engage on the issue of keeping people in their homes. What could be done there in a bipartisan manner that could lessen the 10,000 people a day, whether or not you want to, send them away or not? We know these people are desperate. They're putting their lives in with coyotes.
Well, I think it also was one of the first assignments that President Biden gave Vice President Harris.
It's true.
And
it wasn't very popular.
She didn't really seem anxious to jump on that one. But I think that, look, I think one of the biggest benefits of the previous administration was the Remain in Mexico policy. I think that's truly where you're seeing so many migrants. It is a humanitarian crisis, and you see a large number of them that are physically and sexually abused on that path by coyotes. And the reality is that there should be a Remain in Mexico policy. That should have never been abandoned by the Biden administration. And I think you have to have politically, though, a hat tip as well, that at the same time Americans are going to be watching this catastrophe happen at the border, House Republicans that very same day will be passing border security legislation.
That's right.
Have we added to the crime, though, in Mexico? Like, when we push everybody back to Mexico, I mean, Mexico has had so many crime problems, and it is an issue for our Americans that go to Mexico.
The idea is that many people will not make the trip up to Mexico if they recognize the policies are going to have to stay in Mexico.
Right.
The assumption is they get asylum if they reach our border.
And for administration, again, KJP points to Congress. Congress needs to act. The president can't do anything. He acts as though he's just like a passive bystander, like these things are happening to him, not because of him, which they are. Donald Trump was able to do things in the face of a Congress that didn't want him to do anything at the southern border. The president does have levers of power. He can get it done. This president doesn't want to do it because he wants to gain and maintain political power.
Yeah, look, I covered both. Things are very different at the border now than they were during the Trump administration. Just the facts are the facts. Mark Short, thank you very much. Good to see you. I should say the Trump-Pence administration. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.